Ever hear the saying, "It was so big, it almost scared me to death"? Though there are giant bugs in nature, often the size can be deceiving. Large bugs have a tendency to look scary or like something creepy from another world, which often instills fear and anxiety. However, the deadliest insects are not necessarily the largest or the scariest looking. There are many insects in our world that deserve to be feared and avoided if all possible. Despite their size and appearance, here's a list of 10 of the most terrifying insects in the world. Before we jump into the video, if you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button and join the family. Let's begin. Number 10. New World Screwworm Fly. The New World Screwworm Fly feeds off warm-blooded animals. These flies lay their eggs in open wounds on animals, including humans, and the larvae they develop within the open wound screw deeper in if they're disturbed in any way as they're feeding. New World Screwworm flies are capable of causing severe tissue damage to their host, and in some cases, even death. The Australian Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry reports the screwworm flies could cost Australia as much as $500 million a year if they enter the continent, wreaking havoc on local ecosystems, production, livestock, and humans. In simple terms, these flies are seriously bad news. The sterile insect technique was proposed by scientists Edward F. Kipling and Raymond C. Bushlin and was rapidly adopted by the United States Department of Agriculture in 1958. The technique centers on a unique reproductive handicap that prevents female flies from mating more than once. The scientists reasoned that if it were possible to clinically sterilize and release huge numbers of males as breeding time approached, fertile males might be outcompeted and the majority of female flies would lay sterile eggs. Eradicating the males was used for sterilization. Number 9. Zombie Fly. The zombie fly has been selected as one potential cause behind the unprecedented disease affecting massive portions of the world's wild and commercial honeybee population, colony collapse disorder. A particular fungus starts by consuming the fly's hemolymph, the fluid equivalent of blood in invertebrates, and then feeds on the insect's fat cells. After the free liposuction, the mind control begins. Why am I getting Professor Charles vibes? Causing it to fly away from its hive. As the bees depart in larger and larger numbers, the hive weakens, dwindles, and tragically collapses, unable to support itself any longer. Colony collapse disorder is one of the most important, yet least recognized problems of our time. More than 1/3 of the average diet in the world is made up of foods directly pollinated by honeybees, and some beekeepers have seen as much as 50% of their bee operation vanish due to colony collapse disorder. If the zombie fly really is at work here, it's threatening far more than just individual bees and hives it impacts. It's threatening larger portions of the world food supply and hence earns a spot on our list. Well, food is important. Number 8. Human botfly. The human botfly is probably the most disturbing insect, similar to the New World Screwworm fly. This fly lays eggs on animals that land on humans, animals like mosquitoes, ticks, and normal flies. When the animal carrying the fly's larva lands on a human host, the human's body heat helps to hatch the tiny eggs into tiny larvae. If the bite wound from the mosquito or tick is large enough, these larvae will directly enter the human body through the bite wound. And if it's not, they'll eat their way down into whatever piece of human flesh they land on, burrowing in, chowing their way into your body. After the human botfly larvae are inside a human body, they develop and grow, feeding on you around 8 full weeks. Then, the larvae begin to burrow their way back out of your body and skin to drop into the real world as they pupate change from larvae into flies. Oftentimes, doctors are unable to truly diagnose the issue at hand and remove the maggots from their human host for multiple weeks, by which point the botfly has already fed on the insides of their host for longer than I care to think about. Number 7. Camel Spider. The monster spider, also known as a wind scorpion, is not venomous. Although not venomous, camel spiders do have painful bites, and they take a scorpion right out of commission if the scorpion is stupid enough to come knocking. The camel spider first gained notoriety in the West during the Gulf War in the early 1990s. They became an internet sensation. Forced perspective photographs made the spiders look as big as a human leg, when in reality, even when they are very large in the Middle East, they could easily be squished under a person's shoe. Here are some common myths and facts. Camel spiders run after humans. Camel spiders don't want you, they want your shade. According to the NSF, when a person runs, the camel spider will chase the shadow. If a person stands still, the camel spider will too, enjoying the cool. While under a camel, they leap into the air and disembowel it, eating its stomach. While untrue, this old myth probably gave the camel spider its name. Camel spiders may stay under camels for the shade. Camel spiders can run up to 30 miles per hour and jump up to 3 feet high. The fastest camel spider clocks in at around 10 miles per hour, and they don't do any significant jumping. Number 6. The Puss caterpillar. The Puss caterpillar looks like a giant stuffed toy, a big fuzzy Furby. Wouldn't you want to put it right next to your teddy bear? Which some have compared to a toupee or the coif of Donald Trump. But watch out, if you do put it to your cheek to cuddle it, your face will break out in waves of extreme radiating pain. If you do come in contact with a Puss caterpillar, the proper way to proceed is to remove the broken spines from your body with cellophane and contact your doctor. In other words, no matter how cute they are, never snuggle up with one against your cheek. Number 5. The Gordian worm. The Gordian worm is also known as the horsehair worm. The Gordian worm is a type of parasite that latches onto crickets like a wicked, deadly cricket tapeworm. The worm, somewhat like the zombie fly, inserts itself into a cricket host and infects it. Horsehair worms can lay their eggs in water sources frequented by crickets. As crickets drink the water, they ingest the worm eggs, which turn into larvae inside the cricket's body. These larvae grow slowly over time and infect the cricket host, sending tendrils up the cricket's brain to take over its motor control and causing the poor cricket to seek out water and drown itself. When the worm reaches the water, it will crawl out of the host and swim back into the water to start the cycle all over again, laying eggs to infect the next poor thirsty cricket that comes along. If you live in North America and have any beloved pet crickets, you'll want to watch out for these things. Number 4. Bombardier beetle. The searcher or caterpillar hunter is a common brightly covered North American ground beetle about 35 millimeters long. Its green or violet wings are edged in red, and its body has violet, blue, gold, and green markings. This and related species of ground beetles are known to climb trees in search of caterpillars. The bombardier beetle has one of the most unique chemical defense mechanisms of any insect on Earth. Its rear abdomen holds 2 separate glands that store chemicals. When these chemicals react, they produce an exothermic chemical reaction which releases significant amounts of heat that can blister human skin. The chemicals mix together and shoot out of the beetle's abdomen in a noxious gassy liquid form at the boiling temperature of water, 100 degrees Celsius. The bombardier beetle uses this boiling hot gas to fend off predators. The beetle can aim its abdomen in any direction, giving it a full 360-degree defense system to fend off any ants, insect predators, or frogs or other vertebrates that may want to try and eat one for a snack. Number 3. Bullet ant. The bullet ant holds the title of having the most painful insect sting in the world. The average size of a bullet ant is between 0.7 and 1.2 inches long. Unlike other species of ants, the queen of a bullet ant colony is usually not much larger than the workers. A colony of bullet ants will on average have several hundred ants. A sting from a bullet ant has been compared to the same amount of pain from a gunshot. On the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, a bullet ant sting is considered a 4.0. The pain from a bullet ant sting can last more than 24 hours. One tribal culture in Brazil has developed a rite of passage style ritual involving the bullet ant, wherein young boys must put their hands into gloves covered with angry bullet ants and allow themselves to be repeatedly stung for 10 minutes to demonstrate their manliness. Young men wishing to become full warriors in this tribe must undergo the painful insect ritual 20 times in order to be considered truly and fully members of the tribe. Number 2. Golden orb-weaver spider. Australia is famous for all sorts of dangerous creatures, including a host of seriously deadly snakes and spiders that hide under your toilet seat. Australia is also home to the golden orb-weaver spider, one of the largest spiders on Earth. There are documented cases of these spiders growing large enough to consume medium-sized birds, and they regularly trap snakes and lizards in their massive webs. The golden orb-weaver spider, also sometimes known as a banana spider, is also the largest known species of fossilized spider around the world, with some fossils dating back to the Jurassic period over 164 million years ago. Usually, they won't bite a human, and if they do, the bites only cause mild pain, but the sheer freaky size of the spider would be enough to give me a freaking heart attack if I saw one crawling up my leg. There are actually documented cases of this spider eating a bird. The female normally eats the male after mating. Some things literally don't change, like being dumped after being used, but that's a different story. Fishermen in the Indo-Pacific Ocean make balls with the spider's silk. After being tossed into the ocean, the balls unravel and form a net to catch fish. And at number 1, the Japanese giant hornet. The Japanese giant hornet can reach up to 4 centimeters in length, which is multiple times the size of any honeybee, and injects venom into its victim with a 1/4-inch stinger. That's about half the size of your pinky fingernail. European honeybees have no defense against these hornets, which prey on the larvae and honey inside a honeybee hive. These hornets are efficient insect assassins and can destroy an entire hive in the space of a few hours. Usually, a honey hive will contain 30,000 to 60,000 individual bees, depending on the season. Interestingly, Japanese honeybees have evolved a defense mechanism to combat the giant hornet. To keep their hives safe, the bees form a swarm of around 500, encircling and capturing a hornet in a giant bee ball. They wiggle and beat their wings together to create a mini convection oven, concentrating their body heat around the hornet, effectively roasting it to death. It's hard to believe these creatures exist in the same world as we do. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and comment the insect which scared you the most down in the comment box. Until next time, have a great day.